Hello and welcome back to my crafty corner here on YouTube. My name is Elo and this is my channel called aKnittersSoul. Yes, so if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. It's always such a joy to have you spending time with me. And if you are a new viewer, I do hope you do find something to your liking. As per usual, I will be linking all patterns mentioned down below. And if there is anything you wonder about, don't hesitate to reach out to me either on Instagram or Ravelry, as those are the places I visit the most. And I also have a Ko-Fi account if you feel like supporting me and my little channel here on YouTube. So it's been a minute since I filmed last. That was not my intention, but life happens and health happens. But hey, I'm back and I have so much to show you. I have crazy amounts because I've been working quite a bit on big needles, and that means that things kind of, they just grow by themselves, kind of. Can I say it like that? Ah. So let's start with what I'm wearing then. And this is a sweater I've been wanting to make for such a long time. It's been on my dream knit list for quite a while. And I think about a year ago or even more, I finally purchased the pattern after looking at it for a very long time. And now I finally knit it up. And I'm so happy with it. So without further ado, this is my Blueblockgenser or bluebell sweater by Wenche Roald. I will try to either take videos or photographs that I can insert here afterwards when editing. But yeah, this is her. It's just so beautiful. I absolutely love it. And yes, it's quite a plain color for me to for me. It is a very plain color. But I realized I have two little like plain colored cardigans, jumpers, sweaters, clothing pieces in my wardrobe. So this is gonna fit in well with all my colorful dresses and patterned things, and yeah, you get the point, you get the gist. But yeah, it is a top-down sweater. It has, I do believe it has German short rows in the back for heightening the neck. It is super fun to knit. It is knit in DK weight. I've used stash yarn. I had some Charisma from Drops Garn Studio in my stash, and the colorway is it 85, I believe. Yeah. So this very light beigey kind of color, sandy, maybe a kind of sandy color. I'm not actually sure what they call it on the website, but I had this after I did a test knit where I was indecisive on the color, so I bought this and I had another color and I ended up choosing another color. So this has been sitting in my stash for, I don't know, year and a half. So not actually very deep stash, but as I don't have a lot of DK weight, and I thought this would be perfect for the purpose, which I think it was. And I love it. And if you are a new viewer, I do love my sleeves to be more of a bracelet length. That's my preferred length. I do like when my long sleeved shirts stick out, or like when it's summertime that it's not all the way down, because they just annoy me if they're too long. But I highly recommend the pattern. It was well written, it was easy to follow, The modifications I did, I actually don't remember quite now. I think I went up a size, I believe, to get a little bit more looser fit. And I also did the finishing as she has for her Wilfreda jumper, so it's a little bit longer in the back. And yeah, I absolutely love it. It does have the same kind of fit now as Wilfreda has, and that was kind of what I was opting for, because I want it to be this sort of easy piece that I can throw over, yeah, like long sleeved t-shirts or dresses or skirts, or yeah, you name it. Super happy with it. Absolutely love it. And I mean, if you live in warmer climates, you can easily use cotton instead. She actually does suggest both woolly wool and cotton as options for knitting this jumper. But yeah, if you haven't checked this jumper out, or if you haven't checked out Wenche Roald yet, I highly recommend. She has very well written patterns, really beautiful patterns, and yeah, super pleased. And this is like spot on with my plan of using both stash and using patterns from my library. So I'm going to insert myself here really quickly. While I was editing, I realized I fully forgot to mention my knit-along or make-along, because you are allowed to both crochet or knit. The criteria for participating are that you are using stash and or patterns from library. Why I say it like that is that if you use both stash yarn and patterns that are purchased before the end of 2024, and you've started this project after or after the 1st of January 2025, you can make 2 posts in the thread, so you'll be eligible for like 2 tickets in this lottery. So do come and join me in there. And I must say, I have been checking that thread quite often, and there are so many beautiful things already. A lot of small things, accessories, which is totally fine. There is no limits on what you can make or not. And I must say, there's quite a few posts that have inspired me, made me go sneak and have a look at patterns. So keep on posting. That's really inspiring. And kudos to us all who are making use of the beautiful yarn that we already own, and the patterns. So yeah, come and join me in that. And back to me in the video. And as I said, I think I mentioned last time as well, it doesn't mean that I cannot buy any yarn. I just have a focus on using whatever it is that I have already. So far I've been doing really good with that. So this was my bluebell sweater. But there's more. I have so many finished objects. That's almost crazy. Yeah. Let's carry on with my Soldotna crop by Caitlin Hunter. This is also a pattern I've been wanting to knit for a very long time. I don't know how long time, but I've had it in my stash. I picked up the pattern several times, tried to make yarns to work in there, my color combinations to work in there. Wasn't happy, so I put it away again. So, but now it's finished. Last time I saw you, I think I was pretty much missing only like the ribbing of the sleeves. I might be wrong. So it wasn't much left since last. And I'm so happy with it. The pattern is so beautiful, easy to follow, can recommend. It does have German short rows in the back, in case you're wondering about that, so you'll get a little bit of a height in the back, which is nice. I'm trying to think. I don't think I did any modifications. I did do the length of the sleeves that it says in the pattern, and it kind of annoys me because they're a bit longer than I maybe would like. And I was actually considering picking up the ribbing for the sleeve and actually shorten it, but then I realized that I can just fold it up and it's just fine. So for now I'm not gonna do any changes to this. I'm just gonna keep it as it is. But yeah, I have done a regular 1x1 rib. I have done an Italian sewn bind off. I really loved the finishing look of Italian bind off or Italian cast off, and I don't mind doing it. I've done it so many times now that it comes so naturally, so it's not a hurdle kind of. But yeah, absolutely love it. And yeah, it's more practical for me with long sleeve sweaters that I can use when it's cold, and yeah. And the yarn that I used, I have spoken about quite extensively before, so I will just very quickly whiz through it. It is the lanolin wool there by Dali Yarns. It is an absolutely wonderful yarn to work with. It is 100% woolly wool DK weight. So it's this natural white, this blue. Oh, camera is a little bit slow with, and there was the apple green, and then I have this light jeans blue as well. I'm sorry about the crinkling. And if you wonder about the color numbers, have a peek on my Ravelry or on my previous podcast, because I talk about it quite extensively. So yeah, that was my second finished object, my Soldotna. Let me just put this aside, make space for next things. I can pick up maybe these. This is a gift for my brother. It is a scarf. It is entirely from my stash. So happy with that, and it's so nice and squishy. This is half fisherman's rib. Or is it fisherman's rib? Fisherman's rib. And it is the fisherman's rib scarf and cowl. It is a pattern by Purl Soho, and it is a free pattern. The yarns that I've used are the Opal Sunrise, it's one of their older yarns lines, and this is what I have left of them, because I've tried to, because you'll see it on my next project, I try to kind of match the beginning and the end, so to say. And I held it double with Fabel Drops Fabel color 116, which I think is called the Cornflower. A really pretty blue. And yeah, I'm super happy with it. I realized just now that I have forgotten how long it was, because I measured it a while ago. That is long. I might measure it after I'm done recording, but yeah, I just love the look of it. The yarn is so beautiful, the opal yarn, and I think it worked very well together with this Drops Fabel. And yeah, I washed it and I laid it flat to dry, so I've not blocked it, just to keep most of the squishiness inside, because you can see like it's really squishy, really lovely. And from the same yarn, and still from my brother, I made these pair of socks. Ooh, they were huge. Holding them all the way back here, I think. And and this was the pattern that was called Vanilla Sock with Gusset and Choice of Heel by Torr. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, so if you want to give it a go, I can actually recommend it. It looked a little bit daunting because there were so many pages, but when you actually start reading, it's not many instructions. I mean, like, there's explanations, but it's not a lot to I mean, you can just start going and look at the steps as you go. So I opted for a tubular cast on. You saw it last time. I had just finished the blue tips. I've added a stripe of orange there, and then I worked with a ball of opal there, and then I did another stripe of the orange and finished with a solid blue. And yeah, as I said, those little balls were left because I wanted them to match as much as possible. Not that it's a huge deal, but if I can kind of manage to make them match somewhat, then I do like to do that. So yeah, and the orange I used in there is this Drops-Fabel. It's colorway 119. I'm trying to think if it was, I don't think it was called just orange, but it was something else. Doesn't really matter, does it? And yeah, and the solid blue is this opal sock yarn that I have in my stash, and it is colorway 1419. So yeah, this is a size 45. It was interesting to knit this pattern. It's a clever construction in the sense that you actually never pick up any stitches. You just knit as you go. I mean, like, you do some yeah, it's hard to show, but you do some make one left and make one right, and you increase, so you end up with this quite a wide bit on like on your foot, and then you do some decreases, and then you do knit two together, so you get this, I think it was knit two together. It's been a minute since I made it, but anyway, there's no picking up of stitches involved in this pattern, and it just comes out beautiful. Like, yeah, I did get a tip from a viewer for another pattern, or actually it's a podcast here that has a sock pattern that's toe up and it has a gusset and heel, and that podcast is by is Purl Together. Sorry. And I'm gonna link both the podcast and or like the video for the sock down below, and also the web page where the pattern is found. So if you wanna try out or look up a pattern that's a toe up gusset heel type of sock, I haven't tried that yet, but it looks very well explained and simple. So my camera has unfortunately acted up and cut out some footage. I am now going into sharing about my next finished object, which is the skirt from Rauma, and I am telling you about the yarns. So yes, I used black finull garn from Rauma design. It's a cone that I bought last summer when I went to the fabric, and this was one of the discounted cones because it can have some weaknesses along the way. It said so. I haven't encountered any weaknesses yet, so I'm super happy with it. And the contrast color, or the pattern color, was this Methera, and there's the composition of it. And absolutely love this yarn as well. This was my first time working with this yarn, and yeah, I absolutely love it. Super lovely yarn. And this is her. I guess it doesn't look much when I'm showing it just like that. It has these beautiful decreases, which I absolutely love. Oh, let me see, I can show them to you. The light is always, as per usual, a struggle, but I'm gonna try to make do and not talk about it too much. But yeah, you see how you you have this one line just, oh, it's hard to see. One line just go through, and then you have everything decreasing into it. It gives such a beautiful effect, and it really fits my body well. I'm super happy with it. And then I found these tiny little buttons that match the green quite perfectly. Oh, there's some fiber there as well. So I got fiber everywhere these days, and I'll get back to that later on. But yeah, super happy with it. I am considering putting in a band at the top just to tighten it a little bit. There's no danger of it falling down or anything, but I think I would just like the feeling of having a little bit of kind of tightness up there. So like a white rubber band, not that, but something of the width of the band, the knitted band. And I also run it through a soft cycle at 40 degrees with nothing else in the machine, just to felt it ever so slightly, and it was just perfect. Like I love the effect that you get with 2-ply woolly yarn. Oh, sorry about that. It just kind of fills up the gaps just perfectly, and it's, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I just love the effect you get when you do a very slight felting of a woolly fabric, and especially when it comes to mittens or like a skirt. I probably wouldn't do that on a cardigan or anything, but for a skirt I thought it would be perfect, because I don't want to have any see-through moments or whatever. I wanted to felt it ever so slightly, and I did, and I'm happy I did, because the result is perfect, if you ask me. Love it. And now I can wear it since I've shown it to you, because I've been saving all the things that I've finished. I've been saving them in regards of wearing them just up until I had showed them to you. So now I can start wearing things, which is wonderful. I guess I can do another sweater. Yep, I finished another sweater. But I must say, all of these, both this one and Soldotna and also the next one, they are knit on quite large needles, so they grow quite fast. And also my Soldotna I was pretty much finished with last time I showed it to you, so there wasn't much left. But yeah, next one is also one jumper that I've been wanting to make for such a long time. So long time. Ever since it came out, I've been thinking about it. And actually what kept me from making it in the beginning was landing on a color I wanted to make it. And actually I'll show you the pattern first, because it is a very beautiful pattern. It is a Rauma design pattern. It is knit in Vams, so quite a bulky yarn. There's another picture there that's pretty in this pretty pink. And I know I could use both yarns from from Sandnes. The fritidsgarn, I could find something if I wanted from Hillesvåg. I think it's either Blåne or Troll. But I was looking at these different yarns and colors, and I just the colors maybe I liked. I put them up to my face, and I was like, no, that's draining me for color. And I kept on going back and forth like that. I even did buy one yarn, this sort of cerise pink, but I realized I didn't want it to have this particular sweater in that. So okay, without further ado. Oh, crinkles! No. This is her. I mean, God, look at it. Isn't this beautiful? Oh, This is the Villblomstgenser once again. People, you need to know about this pattern. It's so beautiful. It must be said that if you are not so fond of thick sweaters, I keep on going back between jumper and sweater. I'm sorry. It is what it is. You know what I mean. This is also available. The pattern is also available in plum, which is a mohair yarn. Since the paid for pattern, I haven't looked into it whether it's a 1 strand or 2 strands. But if you want a lighter version, it is like fully possible to purchase a pattern that accommodates that. But yeah, it is absolutely gorgeous, and I want it for such a long time. I'm so happy I finally made it. Very quickly about the yarns. There. The yarns that I use are lopi unspun in this colorway that is 1026. It is this sort of light, like lopi. It is a light gray. I knitted with 2 strands of lopi, and I added 1 thread of thin silk erle in this kind of natural off-white color. And one of the reasons why I opted for adding a kit silk was that I wanted this garment to be a little bit stronger, as it is an unspun yarn. And I also thought this is something I have in a stash. I would love to add it in there. And also this is like with a wool base, like kit silk with a wool base. Kit silk. It's a mohair with a wool base. So I thought that would be a perfect match, like matching this woolly mohair with a woolly yarn. And you can say whatever you want. I believe this is a perfect combination. It is so cozy. It's so lovely. Absolutely love it. The tip I would give you when making this is that when I cast it on, and you can see my rib is quite tight because I haven't washed it. This is knit on after finishing everything else. This is a bottom up pattern. And when you look at the picture, it has quite long sleeves, it has quite a long body, and I didn't know exactly how long of a body and sleeve I wanted to have. Also, I believe there isn't given like a row gauge, just the gauge for amount of stitches per 10 centimeters. So I wasn't sure how long it was gonna be. So I opted for casting it on with I opted for casting it on with Turkish cast on, and I think I started at a point which was the ribbing, which was meant to be 7 centimeters minus, like, or plus even more, like a centimeter or 1.5 on top of that. I like sort of, I took that out of the amount of centimeters I was supposed to knit before starting with the pattern. And I'm very, very glad that I did that, because once I had washed it, the sweater without the ribbing, and I had tried it on, like after the whole like lace pattern had relaxed, it was the perfect length. And I also, instead of doing 7 centimeters of ribbing, I did only 5. I thought it was enough. I didn't feel like having anything or like any more length to it. I did the same with the sleeves. I did the Turkish cast on. I knitted the sleeves as recommended in the pattern. I believe I think I took off like the 7 centimeters it was supposed to have for the ribbing, but I didn't take off like an extra centimeter or anything. And once I was finished with it, again, like once washed and blocked and everything, I felt that the sleeves were too long. So, and that's the beauty with Turkish cast on. I just figured out where I wanted to be. I think it was like 3 centimeters. I put in the needles where I wanted to rip it back until, and I just untied the first kind of slip knot that you do with Turkish cast on, and I could just unravel it down to the point where it was the right length, and then did the decreases that you were supposed to do prior doing the ribbing, and I did the same with only 5 centimeters of ribbing. It is a twisted rib, and I've also done Italian bind off on both the sleeves and the body. And I must say it was actually really a joy to work with lopi. I think I broke the yarn only once during the whole duration of knitting with it, so it wasn't like a hassle of the yarn breaking or anything, but I was quite mindful when knitting. I put the 2 plates of unspun like laying flat or on a flat surface, and I just would pull ever so softly from them, and it just never broke except the one time, and I don't think I was even knitting then. I was doing some measuring and fluffing about, and one of the strands broke. But yeah, I absolutely love this pattern. It's a fun pattern because you do have to pay attention. You have quite a few rows in here in this pattern where you are working the lace every single row. There's something happening every single row. So if you want something that's fun, I can recommend this. And if you're hesitant on working on bottom up, that's one way of kind of adjusting the length, or being able to adjust the length after being finished, because it was just as easy as just ripping back and starting to knit. It was not a problem whatsoever. So yeah, super happy with this. Is there anything else to say to this? No, I just love it. So yeah, it's like I have this beigey, very plain colored sweater, and then I have this one, which is this light gray. It helps. It helps. I can't have only crazy colors in my wardrobe, can I? Super happy with that. Let me just put it there. Okay, I can do a little scarf that came in from the sidelines. That was not planned for, but I really enjoyed making it. I've been browsing very little on Instagram or Ravelry or all those places, but somehow I think maybe it's because I subscribe to Hobby, maybe. Anyway, this little cutie came up. This is the pressed flowers kerchief by Christoffers, and this is the pattern I've not this pattern in particular. I have looked at Christoffers' pattern before, her pressed flowers cardigan, and she has a shawl, she has a cowl, she has quite a few patterns with this motif. And then I thought, oh, what a perfect way of trying this out. And in the beginning I started working on with the thought that maybe this would be for my niece, but now I'm actually not sure. I might keep it for myself because I think it turned out just so beautiful. And this is my kerchief. The colors are washing out. It is quite a pale color. Let me just put it all the way up in the camera in the hopes of maybe, yeah, this is more it. It is more depth to the colors and nothing. It's so pretty. It's so simple, and yeah. It's meant to be quite a bit smaller, and that's why I first thought about maybe making it for my niece, but I wanted to use up as much as I could of this contrast color, I guess. And it's just this beautiful little tiny thing to put under your coat. And it just keeps you entertained all the time because, as I said, I don't think I said, anyway.
it keeps you entertained. There's something happening every row. There's changes. There's a bit of repetition as well, but yeah, it's a fun little thing to knit. And the yarns that I've used, one of them is this beautiful hand spun yarn. Oh, focus on the yarn. This is hand spun by Ulveig, and it has this beautiful blend of different fibers, which is merino, you have silk, and you have glitter, and you have tencel, and the yarn is so soft and so beautiful. And I opted to match it first and foremost with a green from Arvetta, Vilcolana. This is it, and it is a colorway 359, I believe. No, 379. And it's sort of like an apple green. I don't remember the correct name for it in on their webpage, but you know, you can look it up if you're interested. And the green I held together with Ito Sensei. The colorway is cabbage. A very quick side note, I absolutely love this mohair. It is so soft, so lovely. It is more on a pricey side, but it is so soft. So if you are sensitive, this is beautiful. I can highly recommend that. But yeah, as I said, first originally I had thought to make just a tiny version, as it is so to say called for in the pattern, but I wanted to use up more of this, and the only reason why it has such a substantial amount left is I wanted to have an odd number of flowers and not an even number of flowers, so, and that I wouldn't been able to make out of this, so this will go into some other beautiful project after that. But that meant as well that I ran out of the green that I had in my stash, and then I looked at my minis that I had on the wall, and I found this green that matched pretty much spot on. It's just a very slight difference. And this is a color, colorway, yeah. It is a yarn dyed by Garnfene. And this is a mini I think I got as one of those goodie bags kind of gifts a year ago, so. But yeah, super pretty, and like I said, it matched my Arvetta very closely. It was just very slight difference, and you really cannot tell when this when this shawl is around your neck, or even if you're looking at it, you just really have to look for it. I must say there were a couple flowers that I did do a little bit of, well, I can't even say like surgery with, but I opted for adding a layer of a matching mohair because they were quite busy. Let me see if I can find, yeah, like this flower here, because of the way the yarn is spun up, it's quite busy, and I wanted to not disappear in the fabric. So yeah, as I said, I opted to have I do a duplicate stitch over the stitches so that the flowers will pop more, and I might do it on some of the other flowers, I might not. I quite like the subdued look of it. And yes, also this I actually had to buy, well, I didn't have to, but I opted to buy an extra bowl of it as I ran out of the one I had in my stash. And as I said, I love this mohair, so I don't mind adding this into my stash again, or like, yeah, really can recommend both the pattern. The pattern is free on hobby.com, hobby with 2 I's. So if you have like this one little special skein you want to work up, but it doesn't even have to be, I think my skein was 65 grams, no, 56 grams, so you don't really need a lot. Maybe you could even get away with a mini skein, or like 30 grams or something. Have a look at it if you have one little skein somewhere and you want to make a little cute gift for somebody. I can recommend this. So I think we are nearing the end of finished objects. I have one more that's a bit more on the huge side, and this is this sweater that's hanging behind me. It must be said, this has been a UFO for the longest of times. Don't ask me why. This is just something happened, and at one point I pulled myself together and I finished the body, because it is a top-down construction. You do have German short rows in the back and on after the pattern, so it is a raised neck on it. So all that I had left on this were the sleeves, which is so silly to leave it like lingering, but it's finally come back from Sleeve Island. It's gotten its sleeves and it is finished. And the pattern is Fossveien genser by Inga Semmingsen. I'll put it there for a second so I can show you the pattern, because I have made some modifications to this pattern. Because the original, let me see, I'm gonna have to come in from this side, so I'm not showing you the pattern. As you see, there's a whole lot of texture going on in the body. I opted out of that. There's also some texture in on the sleeves. I've also opted out of that. I've just felt there was so much happening with this pattern that I did try, like I did start working on this stitch pattern there. I did not like it. I just felt it got too busy. Is there anything else that? Yeah, because there's the stitches and the cables. Or like not the stitches, the stitch pattern and then cables. It's a very, very pretty design. I do think it's also on Ravelry, I believe. So if you're interested in trying to work with or like make one of these, then you would be able, I think. So yeah, the main color is this gray. And this is Norsk Villsau Lambswool 7.2. So also by Hillesvåg. And it just says dark gray as a colorway. So yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I started it in October 2022. So it's been on the needles for quite a long time. It's been a bad conscience for a very long time, but I don't know, just something happened along the way which kind of made me not work with this. Don't know why. I think partially I was really struggling with figuring the length I wanted to have on the sweater. And then I was very unsure whether I wanted to have this stripe there. I mean, it's very, very pretty, but I just kind of felt that it was, in my head at least, it's just bringing out like a part of me that I didn't necessarily want it to bring. I don't know. Something happened there, as I said. But yeah, now it's finished. It's done. I'm so happy to finally have finished it. And I think this is gonna become a Christmas present for one of my girls. My bonus girls. Because I've kind of grown out of it, if you know what I mean. Sometimes it happens. You grow out of the designs that you once loved or the colors that you once loved, and this is definitely the case with this sweater. I love it. I think it's so beautiful. I wouldn't mind making another one, but yeah, in different colors, lighter colors. I just find myself being drawn more to like lighter colors, like hello. So yeah, that's my Fossveien genser by Inga Semmingsen. And then I have, I think, let me see, I have my cheat sheet just next to me, or show notes, also better way of calling it. I have two little things. They are crochet. of all things that are finished. I felt like crocheting and I wanted to make, which I figured since last I spoke about something similar that is called a trivet, I believe. Something to spare the table from the hot pot with. And I found this pattern that had used jasmine stitch and I thought, okay, I want to try that. And it was in Norwegian, and even though I can crochet in Norwegian, the jasmine stitch was not clicking with me in Norwegian. So I found a YouTube tutorial video which had like a visual diagram as well, and or like chart on the screen all the time, so that kind of helped me understand it better. I will link the YouTube video down below. I'm sure there's many tutorials that are just as fine or better, but I really enjoyed that. And this is it. This is it. Looks a little bit wonky. And for some reason there are some places that it didn't felt as nicely. But overall it's really nice and thick, and I think it's gonna be a lovely piece to put on the table, on the pot. And then I was like, well, I want to try something else. Being kind of happy with the jasmine stitch trivet, but not 100%. Then I tried this one from Drops, which was called That's Hot. The design is called That's Hot. And this is quite huge. This is like a pan size, big pan size. And I have run it through the machine now twice. Don't think I want to run it another time. Maybe I will, I don't know. I just took it out of the machine like an hour ago, so that's why it's on the blocking mat. But yeah, I've been making those just because I felt like doing something that's really quick. And they are made out of Rauma garn bumps. It is a colorway 56. Yep, not wanting to focus today. Anyway, you see in the color number 56, it's like this cerise pink bright thing. Really fun. I really enjoyed the jasmine stitch once I got into it. I don't mind trying it again. Maybe actually, I was talking to my sister about this actually, and she was like, oh no, the whole jasmine stitch is gone after the felting. I quite agree with her, even though I knew that was gonna happen. But I've been considering trying, and this is just me thinking, not saying I'm gonna do this, but I'm thinking of trying to make like a trivet with cotton yarn and jasmine stitch, and then just try to make it more dense as I go. So we'll see. That's in that case, that's going to be a future project, nothing that I'm going to do in the next month or so. But I am looking for like fun patterns, so if you have anything to recommend, like give me a shout out, that would be lovely. So yeah, that were all of my finished objects, and I would claim myself that's quite a bit. But yeah, I've been knitting a lot, and also I had planned to come and knit, or like I had planned to tape record about 2 weeks ago, but since that didn't happen, they gave me extra time to knit. And also I've been knitting, like I said, with big needles, so that kind of grows very, very quickly. But yeah, that, as I said, were all of my finished objects, and let's just go into my works in project. I do this wrong. I say it wrong every time. Works in progress, not project. Where should I start? I will very quickly talk about my Musselburgh, because you have seen this before. I have made some progress. I have made progress on it. I am just a few centimeters away from starting my decrease this. This is a Ysolda Teague pattern. I made quite a few of them. Thinking about maybe doing something else now going forward, just to make something else, but it is a lovely pattern, and you get like this double thick, double layered nice hat. This is Garnfene Paradis or Paradise. Really pretty yarn. But yeah, almost getting to a point of decreases. So that was a very quick view in that. Actually, I'm gonna wait with this one till the very end. Gonna talk about my pocket full of Posy blanket. This is the stitches and inspiration is from that pattern, but I am not doing the striping as it's kind of called for in the pattern. I am doing my own thing. I'm following the color wheel as best as I can and changing the colors as the color wheel would. And I have kind of allocated some yarn for it in this. In there, I have the blanket. In here, I have mostly just the yarns. This is a basket I made myself quite a while ago now. Really lovely project. I love that I added the handles in there, so it kind of works almost like a huge project bag. And yeah, in here I have mostly, if I take away the crinkly things, I have mostly like 2-ply woolly yarns, mostly Rauma Finul garn. I have some PT2 and some other ones in there. And yeah, the whole kind of thing or the idea came about when I thought that I wanted to make use of this yarn. It's super lovely, super soft. It's not available anymore, at least when I looked for it last time. It was not available anymore. But it's, yeah, beautiful tweed yarn, this light gray with these pops of yellow in there. Really, really lovely. And I'm holding it with a strand of sort of grayish lilac plum. Those are like the two main colors. And this is the back of it, and here you can see all the sort of color changes that I have done. I've gone from that sort of a reddish color into a more purplish, and then it's gone over into a more bluey purpley color, and like, yeah, I just keep on changing them with sort of according to the color wheel. And last time you saw me, I was, where's that stitch work? I was there. So I made quite a good progress considering it is it's a blanket, so it's a whole bunch of stitches, and also it is brioche. But it is my comfort net. I really, really enjoy knitting this, and changing the colors and knowing that I'm making use of a lot of beautiful yarns. And I see I made some boo-boos, but I'm not gonna be taking it up. I don't know. Look what I've done here. I managed to cross the yarn wrong way around. Somebody has been knitting with a tired head. Not good. But I'm not taking it up. It's gonna be what it is. It's just a signature that it's me. Go figure. Sometimes it would be better not to knit. Even though you really want to and you're super tired. But yeah, I still have lots to go, but I do feel like I made it's starting to get quite a good length now. Like, that's better. So yeah, last work in progress that I have that is active. I mean, I'm looking at another project over there that is something I need to tackle at one point. That's my Summer Knitalong cardigan from last summer. I need to tackle that. But yeah, for now it's dormant. I'm not stressing about it or anything. No, that was not the right bag. So the last one came about partially due to different reasons. One was that I had seen this design been mentioned on Finnish Knitting Stories, and I thought like, oh, that's a clever one, because you make use of the yarn you have, very easily adaptable, and also it is kind of a tiny version of half and half wrap. I never threw myself on that craze of half and half wrap because even though I see the appeal of it, it's beautiful and it's fun construction, you get the two colors. I felt it was just so deep and too short. For me, like, that wasn't practical, so I never thought of making it. And the only time I think I maybe thought of it was one point when I thought, oh, maybe you could make a baby blanket in that way that you get those two colors. So yeah, that was never kind of my cup of tea. So when I was watching Jana, she mentioned the Till by Sonder Yarn Company. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. It's kind of the same thing, but it's kind of different because the way you join the shawl is different. You don't do the German short rows, which I believe are in the half and half wrap. Yeah. And I had kind of like thought, oh, maybe I'll make it out of that yarn. I had eyed out, and I thought like, oh, I'd have to pair it with something pretty. And I was like, oh, maybe this or that. But I hadn't landed on the colors. And then I was having one of my like long chats with my sister, and we were thinking about like what to make. She wanted to crochet a shawl, but she didn't currently have any yarns like that would match her idea, and she wanted to didn't match kind of what she desired to make, and she wanted to make something now. And then I mentioned to her like, well, what about the Till, the shawl here? You know, it's a free pattern, it's easily available, and it's pretty, and you can make use of those kind of odd skeins or odd balls of yarns that you have. You don't have to have like a whole sweater quantity, or like she was looking at like shawls that were anything from 1200 to 1700 meters. So yeah, and she didn't have that right there and then. So we started thinking that let's have like unofficial little tiny Knitalong and make the Till. So I went hunting for a yarn that I would love to make it out of, and I have been obsessed with the color yellow these days. So this kind of popped in my head straight away and thought that this is gonna have to be one half of the shawl. And this is a sock yarn which is 75% wool, 25% nylon. It is 100 grams to 420 meters, and it is dyed by Knitalong. It looks quite accurate on the screen. It is this bright, beautiful yellow. I mean, I'm so happy. It makes me so happy when I see it. And then I was like, oh, what to pair it with? And I was trying out different yarns, and I was even trying different bases, and you know, trying to be creative and get a good match. I was trying some yarn balls that I have with like this sort of a, yeah, it doesn't really matter, like sort of a heather, well, not different, no, I'm saying wrong things. Anyhow, then I found this. This is called Purple. It is a yarn treasure in my stash. Well, actually, no, it's not called Purple, it's called Heather. The color Heather. It's by Stulenstrick. I don't know where I got the purple from. Oh, it's really not showing well. So this has been in my stash for a long time, and I thought, when I saw these two yarns together, I thought they are perfect for each other, because this one is quite a soft, beautiful, like pinkish lilac color, and then you have like crazy yellow to go with it, and I'm like, oh, isn't this like spring in a nutshell? Oh. So I cast it on, and the way you kind of figure out which yarn to start with, or like can figure out how to start the yarn, the shawl with, Jesus Christ, words, is weighing your yarns and figuring out what you have less of, and start with what you have less of, and then you sort of knit the other part with the yarn that you have more of, because then you'll know that you have enough. And this pattern does give you like work from so many stitches up to so many stitches. I think I'm just gonna work till I run out of yarn, so that I can use up like every little bit of this. That's my plan. It is super simple. It's quite quick and mindless. Perfect like grab and go kind of knit if you're going to a knit cafe, or if you're driving or like traveling somewhere. I saw I had made a mistake here. I was too tired yesterday evening. I should have not been knitting. I'm gonna have to fix this. There's a stitch not picked up. Again, a reminder to myself, if you're tired, do not knit. It's okay not to knit. Don't need to create content all the time, right? But yeah, these are two treasures that I think is gonna be so beautiful. And of course I had to have the bright yellow stitch stoppers, and of course I had to have in my burgundy kind of a purpley back. So everything is matching. Everything is thought through. So yeah, this is like an unofficial knit along with my sister and I, but if you want to come along and knit with us, you're so welcome. I can even make a thread, so even if you're like, well, no, we'll say if you started one till the till shawl this year, and then you can sort of submit it no matter when you started, like anything from after 1st of 1st 2025 you can submit. But if you want to come along and make one from now today, you're very welcome, and we can put like a time frame of, is 2 months too long? Let's say from you can admit anything that started from the 1st of 1st 2025, but the dates for the knit along will be from 1st of March until the 30th of April. And I'm trying to think, there's somebody who has knit along from your, one is stash, but also making use of your treasures. Is it Gunniren? Gunnis Englestrikk? You're allowed to double dip, so to say. Like, if you're making the tail, you're getting a beautiful shawl, and you're making maybe you can use up some of your beautiful stash. It does. I mean, you just need 2 beautiful skeins, or less if you want smaller. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's a simple knit. It's sometimes can be a boring knit, like, because it is just garter. But my sister, she's knitting out of Viking. Yeah, what was the yarn again? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a color changing yarn. It's so beautiful. It looks like Northern Lights, or she has this sort of a dark green that goes into a turquoise and has a blue, some little tiny bit of blue in there. It's so pretty. And she's gonna pair it with this sort of a pinkish color, which is like goes from this sort of brighter, well, like stronger. It's still like a soft pink kind of tone, but it goes into like brighter and lighter tone. I think it's gonna be amazing, super pretty. And the effect of like the aurora or the northern lights, oh, I think it's gonna be so gorgeous. So yeah, the options are endless. I did try to knit it also with a yarn that's a bit more busy. Not like a color changing, but it has a lot of things happening there. That didn't appeal to me, but I'm sure you could use something that's speckled or fun, or yeah.
So this is exprompt, this is not planned for, but if you feel like coming and joining us, that would be fun. I can figure out some kind of fun prize to give as well. Maybe, yeah. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, let's say so. That was it with knitting and a tiny little bit of crocheting. So all I have left is spinning. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have spun a little bit. And there also one of my lovely viewers tipped me about a beautiful channel called JK Fiber Arts. I am now a subscriber of the channel, and if you have any more tips or like hints of a good channel, or that you enjoyed, do give me a shout out or write a line down below. So last time I was telling you that I had spun up a grey Corriedale during the my winter break or Christmas break, but I just couldn't find the bobbin. The bobbin was sitting right in front of me in a shelf just behind you now. I don't know, my eyes just didn't see it, but yeah, this is what I did in Christmas. I have attempted to apply it. So this is kind of my like second attempt with the spinning. And this is now my current work in progress. This is my eel wheel 6 point, is it 1 or 2? Yeah. Oh. Really like it, and like if you look at it, it's quite fine. It's quite what's the word? I'm missing a word now. I know the word. It's quite even most of the times, but then you get those ones. Some points you get like, oh, what happened there? Not 100% perfect. I mean, I still have a way to go, so I'm not even gonna try to claim that I'm like great at this. No. But I am enjoying the process. I did buy me a big patch of. Okay, I'm gonna bend down and crinkle a little. Fiber. It's not called, but it's called topping or something. I do not know the terminology. I'm sorry. I'm so new at this. I know so little. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of it, like a half a kilo of Polworth. And I really like it. It's so soft. Oh my god, it's soft. It's so lovely. And I actually don't mind it being just white. It's kind of how should I put it? It's super relaxing knowing that I'm not mucking up some really pretty hand-dyed fiber. And I also don't mind it in the sense that I think it's gonna be easier to maybe use it at a later point when it's quite simple and not like perfect in the thickness and thinness, like in that it's not perfect in that sense, but I could make something that's kind of fun and textured and whatever. So I'm really enjoying that. This I got, is it Spinnvilt? My mind is blanking now. It's a shop downtown in Oslo, which, well, like sort of downtown. It used to be just next door to Verbit, which is not there anymore. So I have seen the shop before. I have peeked into the windows before, but this is the first time I went in there and I actually purchased this huge fiber. Yeah. And I sent out some smoke signals last time, and I'm glad I did, because the sweet Nina from Nina I den glade tråd, she's a Norwegian podcaster who knits and sews and embroiders and spins.
If I'm missing something, sorry. But she was so sweet, and she received my smoke signals and invited several people to her home to sit down together and spin together. You're of course allowed to bring your knitting as well. The main focus was for spinning, but yeah, as I said, you were allowed to knit as well if you didn't feel like spinning. And I did take a break a couple of times, and at one point I was quite fatigued in my head and body and everything, so it was very nice to go back to the more oh my god, going back to the things I know how to do, so to say. My words are missing right now. And I thought I was gonna be the only one who didn't really know what I was doing, but we were actually several of us who were quite new at spinning, which was kind of nice, because what that did was that a lot of tips were shared over the table, and I could pick up some tricks and tips that I hadn't heard about before. Like, one of the things, like, when your fiber, like if you break the fiber, you lose the end of it onto your spool. Then I think the tip I had seen before was using a toothbrush to kind of recover the end on the spool. But one of the ladies that she's been spinning for a long time, I don't know actually how long, but she knows a lot. Hello, Bente. She said use like clear tape, just tape. And that was so brilliant. That has saved me so much since then. I've used it a couple times. Luckily, it doesn't happen as often anymore. The breakage, it was so much more common in the beginning. And I've tried to... Now, I haven't been spinning for a couple of days because I've been just absolutely immersed in knitting. And yeah, obsessive knitting has been happening for sure. But I've managed to get to the point where I actually can spin from quite far away from, and that's one of the things I've understood from those avid spinners who know what they're doing, that's a good thing to do, because you have more time to react and correct things, and you know. So yeah, I'm enjoying that process. It's fun, it's relaxing, and it has been actually a go-to a couple of times when I haven't felt like knitting, or maybe because I finished a project, didn't want to start a new project because it takes like you need to knit swatches and do whatever preparations you need to do. And sometimes it's nice to have something that doesn't kind of take so much brain power, if you know what I mean. So if you've been thinking about getting into spinning, I can recommend it. Actually, I will refer back to Bente again. She did say, I think, that she first learn to spin on a like a spindle. Is that what it is? Like a handheld spindle. And this is something that she still enjoys immensely, and that's kind of very meditative for her. And I've seen other spinners do it as well. They spin on a spindle and they really enjoy it. So it doesn't have to cost like a whole bunch. You can find quite reasonable options to get started. As I mentioned last time, I was just super lucky that I got it gifted to me. I wouldn't been able to afford it otherwise. I must be as open as that. But yeah, it is another way of getting to know the fiber, understanding what goes into making yarn, and it's fascinating. I really enjoy it. So yeah. Do I want to talk about anything else? Most probably yes and no. I feel like last time, since I had kind of restarted the filming several times, I used up so much energy that by the end of the video, when I was sharing kind of my life things, I was depleted. Sorry. And you could hear that on my voice and my energy, and yeah, let's try to avoid that. Let's keep it upbeat and happy, and rather short than long and depleted, I'm thinking. As you figured, I don't have a lot on my needles her today, but I have a lot of plans. And I'm thinking I'm gonna share them as I go, as I make them. I'm not gonna try to share them because my mind, the way it works is that I might get an idea and I might get excited about something, but it still takes me like a little while before I get started. Or then you have those other projects that just come from the sidelines, not expecting them or like not planning for them at all, but I want to cast them on right away. I can't wait another second. And I think that's just my way of being creative, because I love playing with colors, and I love putting colors together. I enjoy that immensely because it gives me so much joy. And I think it, like with the Soldotna, it took me forever to make it, even though I wanted to make it forever. But as I was not able to land on the colors, it just never did come about. So I think that I'm gonna not, I have so many dream knits and I have so much that I want to make. But yeah, I will share them as I cast them on, and I think it's more fun than me talking about them and then maybe it's not gonna happen for another like 4 or 5 years. I think I think it might as well just do it like that. I was gonna say like there hasn't been a lot of fun things happening. Like I mentioned before, life has happened. Like I have been doing things. I have been meeting people. I'm finally done with my tooth. Oh my god, I'm done with the root filling. I'm so happy with about that because I can actually like breathe a little bit now. I was super tense and super worked up about it last time, I believe. So I'm so done. I'm so glad I'm done with it. But I do also have something to look forward to, and I'm gonna go to Kvelde. That's where the yarn shop Garnfene is located at, for a knit day, Ulala, on the 8th of March. And I'm so lucky that I'm able to sit or like drive there with 3-4 other knitters. I'm the fourth one. Like drive in a car together, like we're carpooling down to Kvelde, which is kind of nice because then I don't have to drive that whole long stretch by myself. And what was gonna say? Oh yeah, there is a speaker coming, and I think he's called Strikketerje, and I will correct myself if it's not true, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be so fun. I think that's one of the great things with these knit meetings these knit days is that you get to see a lot of people who are passionate about knitting, and you can nerd about knitting like to the full extent and share experiences and go around in awe looking at the beautiful knits that everybody's wearing. But you also have this little bit of somebody coming there sharing their passion or maybe designing. I think he designs Selbovotter, or he's looked into, I'm not 100% sure. I know about him, I've heard of him. I'm not 100% like into like knowing what he does or like everything, but I know of him. And from what I've heard from other people and their experiences, he's a wonderful speaker and very interesting to listen. So I'm really looking forward to that because it's always lovely with input from people who are creative. And that's like really no matter what the medium of that creativity is. I've been lately enjoying once again like pottery videos. I love watching people making potteries and creating something out of this bland clay, molding it into something beautiful, coloring it, doing all the glazes, and I'm in awe like what people create, and drawing. People are drawing beautiful things and sewing beautiful things. Love, 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 love. Makes me happy. So yeah, that I'm looking really, really forward to. And actually tomorrow I'm going for a knit night with my beautiful friends just in the neighborhood. They are like first and foremost my friends. And I've mentioned them before because over time we have kind of gotten to meet semi-often, like every now and again we get together, we knit, and well, actually most often we start off with like eating dinner together, catch up on each other's lives. Ooh, letters are starting to misform my words. And then we sit down and knit and crochet or whatever just comes naturally to each and one of us, because we are at different stages of crafting. Some are very new, some are more experienced, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So that's gonna be fun as well. But yeah, I managed to squeeze in one podcast in the month of February, on the last day of February, and hopefully I will get it up online also tonight. I hope so. But if not, you know, hey, it's life. I try my best, and yeah, what you see is what you get. I always try to improve myself, but I'm also trying to be at the same time very conscious and mindful of myself. As I mentioned before, there is a little bit of like a stress, or not stress, it's like an unconscious stress somewhere in the back of my mind that I need to produce things so that I have something to show for. Because when I'm sitting all by myself, you know, I don't have somebody to go back and forth with and fill whatever time there is. I feel like I need to have something to show. But I'm trying to be mindful and not put that pressure on myself. Maybe I should just podcast more often and with less things. That's an option. Maybe. We'll see what the future brings. But anyhow, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was you found something to your liking. I guess is like what I'm always trying to say. It's like I hope you enjoyed the time with me. And I hope you come back again for another like chit chat in a month or so. And until then, happy knitting. Yeah, happy knitting. And if you see me out and about, come over and say hi. I've said it before, I might be awkward to start off with, but I do enjoy these encounters, so yeah, it's nice to get to know you. But until then, bye!